Hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Adobe Live. I'm your host, Shauna Lynn, and I'm here with Tomasz Opasinski.
Yes, correct. Awesome, yeah.
Yay, I did it.
I know it's not easy,
Yeah,
I know.
I feel like I'm Polish. I feel like I should be able to do this without thinking, but...
I thought about changing to John Johnson at some point, you know, to make my life easier, but let's stay with it.
Let's live a little, you know?
Yes.
But how are you today?
Pretty good, pretty good. I just found out that I'll be hosting a next episode of that, so you're going to see more of us today. So please stick around. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It really will. And we already have people in the chat having a great time. We've got Carol, we've got Robert, Oliver, we have Wade. Hey, Wade, how are you? How is everybody doing? Tell us where you're tuning in from. And would you like to give us tell us what you're working on today?
Oh, yes, of course, of course. By the way, my T-shirt does not represent my general mood today. This is one of my rock and roll T-shirts. Some folks are asking, actually, what does it mean? So it's just meh. So with this in mind, we're going today to talk to you about Halloween, of course, because it's coming, and how we can connect it with the tools that we provide for your, upcoming shenanigans that you plan sometime really soon. And I do have one poster that I've prepared some time ago using Adobe Firefly, of course, and Photoshop. And what I'll walk you through is the process of making it. So then you can go and take it and create your own poster instead of mimicking what I have done. I hope that comes clearly. I want to teach you how to do posters so you can create it on your own and have, your audience in mind, not just Tomasz's audience. Mine was purely experimental, and I don't want you to make the same mistake I've made making it. So we'll walk through some general, information about posters. How do we make them? Why do we make them? And tastes. I hope this will be okay with you. Please do tell us everything in the chat if you feel like about it. Yes, no, maybe. It's fully improvised. We did not rehearse it. We just met
we literally just met
11 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So if not,
if that.
Yes, if not.
But we're besties already.
Yeah,
so.
freaking right. This is awesome. Oh Jesus, my chair. Oh, my chair is. Okay, that was unforeseen. Okay. This is awesome. Okay, so let's start. Anything from the audience? Anything that you would like to ask me to? What do I do? Okay, shoot. What do I do?
Yeah, tell us what do you do here?
No, what do you do? What do you do? First, you do.
Oh, what do I do? I'm an illustrator.
You're an illustrator.
Yeah, I'm a children's book illustrator. I'm based out of Chicago. And
I did look you up. That was awesome stuff.
I looked up your stuff too. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's artists. Artists are always sniffing each other, ha ha ha. I wonder what he's doing.
It's because we like to creep on everybody.
Yeah. It's like I know.
I gotta know how good they are.
yeah, exactly. Or what techniques they're using.
Yes. And I love what you have here. It's very Tim Burton-y.
Yeah, it's very Tim Burton-y. It was on purpose to bring the familiarity to it, and I will talk about it in a second.
Awesome.
What I do at Adobe, I am a creative technologist. I connect our new tech with possible use cases for creatives. That's my goal, and I specialize in static imagery. I do not do video, so today I'm going to present you just static imagery, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy this tool as much as we do internally. Literally, it sucks me in literally for a few hours. Last weekend, I've spent 3 hours just looking for fun images for us for today, and from one to another, and it's amazing. But again, I treat it just as a tool.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. I think I've said it at one of our other meetings that we don't even say AI or ML because it's such a tongue twister that it's just a tool. It's just a Firefly for us. It's like Photoshop is and other stuff.
Well, and it's a tool because the creativity's here.
Yeah. You know what? It's kind of interesting. Before I start, and I apologize for delaying this. Recently, of course, we exchange information within the company, and each of us is trying new prompts and such. And what we are actually confirming is actually that how you phrase it, it's not that technology will do this job for you to make it look interesting. It's how your brain processes this, what you want this image to be, that makes it interesting. So we're comparing prompts from few different folks, and they say, literally, you are like a photographer with a camera. Yes, everybody can have the same camera, the same angle, but yet somehow your pictures look different. Or better, or just different, right? And I think I'm starting to get that this is the case with this technology. Yes, you have the same tool. Yes, you may generate some, generic stuff that already from out of the box looks decent, but then to take it to this next level of uniqueness, of talent, of taste, it takes a specific illustrator like yourself, somebody with the sense of color, place, and forms and storytelling, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not sure, how much have you experimented with that already?
A little bit here and there. I do more with, like we just did in the last stream, a lot of the generative expand and how I use it for my process to kind of help speed things up.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, we have to experiment a little bit
Yes.
more.
And if anyone has any questions, please drop them in the chat. I'm watching the Behance chat, but I'm also watching the YouTube one. So if you want to get my attention quicker, probably Behance chat is a lot easier. But I will field any questions your way.
Cool, awesome. Please do interrupt. If you have any questions, just ask. That's not rehearsed as always with Tomasz. Why am I starting with chocolates here? So it's not trick or treat kind of situation here, but I just want to show you how different tastes we all have. And I'm gonna ask you, whoever is viewing this right now or us internally, to vote for one or second or the third box of chocolate. Which one would you buy for some reason, right? Is it the packaging? Is it how the chocolate appears? And of course it was generated in Firefly. That's why it's kind of sort of mushy there. But
God,
please,
that's deep though.
Yeah. Exactly. Please do take a look at those and feel for yourself. You don't have to answer for us, but feel for yourself. Which one would you buy, right? This or maybe this. Oh. Ooh, gold, right? Ooh. Or maybe this. That looks like, it was made from recycled material.
You know what, though? You know that there's a chef out there doing something like that because they're like, I want to see if I can make chocolate look like recycled materials. So you know someone out there is doing that.
Yeah. So you have those three. And just for yourself, whichever you chose, it's the general idea behind Poster. It's your taste. It's addressing this to designing this to the right group of people that will respond to it, right? When we design for kids, we designed it in a very specific way. Their brains are not as ours. They don't function as we do. Or folks with different tastes, literally. Where you grow up, how your furniture looks at home, what are you wearing, it all reflects how you perceive, how you purchase, how you react to stuff, right? And before we start with this poster, I want you to think in the future, who are you dedicating this to? So they'll be attracted by your creative endeavors, right? So it's not for you, unless it's your gallery and you're inviting everybody and you're drinking wine and eating cheese, right? If this is for you, that's totally fine. But if you're designing this for somebody else, you have to start thinking about it. What would they put in this place? What would they respond to, right? So again, box 2, box 1, same premise, but different look, right? So please think about it. And I know we're supposed to focus on Firefly, and we will, but I'll have to walk you through this. My manager called me today. It's like, hey, Tomasz, are you doing the Tomasz's School of Posters? I'm like, yeah, we're doing this. So nice. This is part of the Tomasz's School of Posters. Please do think about it this way with any visual assets that you're creating, who you're addressing this to, right? And before we go into this amazing tool as Firefly is, I want all of us to think about it, that it all starts in your head. It doesn't start with a keyboard. It's you're rushing too much. You may be rushing too much. You may not have the story fully formulated. And what you're setting yourself up for is constant revisions and changes later on. The more you think at the beginning, the less of a changes you have to fight later, right? You may find yourself in a dark corner like we most likely did many times in our life when I've been illustrating for 6 hours and it's like, it doesn't work, it's too small or it's too big, or I forgot about this or that. So please do prepare. Even I know Halloween poster does not sound serious to many, but this may turn into your job actually sometime in the future. You may start creating posters, brochures, or something that touches customers. So please think about it. Prepare first, and now actually within the prompts that we're creating, it's like telling the story that you think to the computer, and how you say it. It's very important. So in the past, I couldn't say it to the computer. I have to create it, right? Now I can delegate this to a computer. Hey, generate this element for me or this element for me. But I have to verbalize it. It's like with teaching. When you teach then you learn how to summarize things, how to boil it down to the essence, right? So that's the exercise that I'm asking you to do before you go to Firefly. The reason why I do this is I want you to get the most of this tool. We've spent months working on this, and I want you to get the most of it. And if you're prepared, there's nothing we can do to prepare you, right? Yeah. I can't sit with you and be like, maybe you can try to tell the story from this angle. You have to think about the story first. What do you say to the computer? What kind of elements you will get and how you arrange that, right? What you're seeing on the screen is literally my concept for a poster that is on the right. This is how I start with everything. And it doesn't hurt, literally. You waste maybe 3-4 pieces of paper that you can find anywhere, but sketch it first. Find this idea. Does this work? Is this attractive? Does it say any story? Does it tell any story? And typography will fill in the gaps. This is my case, right? Some of us have. Do you have any typography on your illustration? Any messaging or no?
I do a lot of lettering. So it's a lot of like I was saying in the last stream, like with kids' books, one of my strengths is lettering. And so the very first kids book I did was in a Halloween board book, and it's called the Monsters on the Broom, and it's to the tune "The Wheels on the Bus."
Okay.
So what it was because there's sounds, I was able to letter the sounds.
Oh wow! Awesome.
So I had to think ahead of time though, how will these fit within the context of the illustration? How will these fit within the composition? And
exactly.
And with sketches, it lets you get those. It lets you kind of get the bad ideas out first so that your brain can process the better ideas so that you can then move forward and you're not, going backwards and restarting over and over and over again.
Yep. That's fantastic. You see, in my past life, typography was secondary. There was title, movie, film treatment, and building blocks. So I never thought about this. So image was the language that I've spoken, right? And that's what I highly encourage you to try. Try to say something with just a bunch of images, right? It's going to be interesting. As this, for example, this is the original idea on the left, and on the right you have execution. Is this perfect? It's not perfect on the left, but it sort of helped me to go through worst cases or possibly best cases and better cases, and this was the best case for me, so I decided to illustrate that. So we're going to talk today about this poster. Okay. And if you were to look at it closer, you'll see a lot of elements. Was it created within one prompt? Oh gosh, no. This is not my style. I do not create with one prompt because often these elements do not offer storytelling that to the level that I'm requiring this medium to be, right? So what you're seeing here is a classic, and I have a few examples after this. We won't go straight to Firefly after this. What you're seeing here, it's a classic Hollywood representation of a villain. Somebody who is threatening, somebody who is overseeing, overshadowing, overpowering others. You can imagine Darth Vader being there. You can imagine some bad characters being in the background, right? So you have this overarching large eyes, anonymous eyes that somehow have like teeth in them here, but that's a secondary read, and I don't go in details for this. Think about it as a fractal in a way, right? And then vertically, you're seeing some sort of main characters that will be sort of a theme of this, which is a white character of a woman with some sort of horns. I'm not sure who she is. Maybe she will join us at the party. And there is this fella rabbit with the red eyes. I have no idea who is going to be at the party. But these are two main characters that I'm featuring in that. And around them, I'm surrounding them with their side shows or their friends, bad pumpkins, right? So I'm sort of creating this bucket of characters that is being threatened by this large entity that presents only the eyes, so it's somewhat mysterious, somewhat overarching, somewhat looming over them. And then I'm presenting sense of place. That's why you have this house there. So if you were to process this mentally from the top down, as you normally do posters, or maybe from top left to bottom right, in left to right reading scenario, you see automatically, and this is what's embedded actually in you, and I'm going to show you a few examples of that. Bad is going to happen to those guys maybe eventually, but they seem not to be disturbed at this place and this is the result. Please read it that way. So you sort of connect those few elements of this poster into one, hopefully cohesive story. So you know where it's going to happen in this wicked house, and you have a bunch of zombies, so you know that it's not going to be mostly nice experience, right? So that's what I was trying to say through this.
Are those teeth in the eyes?
Yes, yes. I don't know why. It was created. I don't remember the prompt. Maybe we can find it somewhere within the files. But yeah, these are the screaming eyes. I think there was the screaming eyes, and that's why there are teeth. But if you look from afar, and that's what I love about posters, if you look from afar at them, you read something slightly different. Yeah. And then when you zoom in, that's why I mentioned fractals, you discover it again. And that's the beauty of this medium. When they're large, when they're printed large at 27 by 40 inches, as they supposed to be, you have completely different perception of that you have now here in the YouTube the window, right? It's large. It's as your face, right? These characters have faces similar to yours, so you receive it slightly different, right? So this is should be reworked for a smaller size.
It reminds me of those like I Spy books. Do you remember those?
No.
Oh, okay. So when I was little, there was these I Spy books, and it was these like search and finds, and every page was this collage of just elements, and you had to find little things, and that's just what that reminds me of. Is like, if you were to say like find this thing, find that thing, it looks like a search and find.
There is. I grew up in Poland. We never had those, but yes, you'll find a lot of elements, and that's the purpose actually. So you can look at it again and rediscover it, and even 3 years later, be like, there is some smiling zombie there. Yeah. So by the way, I love to hide stuff. I'm not sure about you, but I love to hide things in the posters as a Easter egg for many, and that sort of makes me feel good, and as well as folks who are receiving those posters.
Yeah.
We can talk about the title treatment first. So what you see here is 2023 Halloween party, blah 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 blah. But why is it there? Why is it not somewhere else? Why is it not big? Why is it not red, right? There is this thing with the posters that there is a language of poster making. The title suggests you what kind of movie it is, actually. When you look at the newspaper, you know automatically that this is newspaper. Why? Because of the format of that, because of the medium, right? You know that if it has a title at the top and columns and illustrations at the bottom, that looks like a newspaper, right? Same with DVD boxes. Most likely you have a title on DVD box that, because it sits on the shelf, and most likely bottom part will be, obscured by something else, by a different shelf. Yeah. And by going through this year by year, you make yourself very, or even often too familiar with this medium, and you associate that with this, right? If I was to do title treatment on this poster at the top, really large, in your mind, my belief is that you will receive it as a project for DVD box. You will see it as, it's a DVD box. Or, hey, it starts to look like a newspaper, et cetera, right? So I'm using this language that has been established and complained about or enjoyed for years, that actually, at its core, it helps you to understand what you're looking at. If you see the title at the top, you know exactly that this is DVD, so you don't have to focus and read it again. You know exactly what it is, and you know exactly what you may get. So think about those elements as a shortcuts. Yes, there may be painful shortcuts. It's like, everything looks the same. But there is a reason, like style in the clothing, right? Or style of a haircut. If you see somebody bald, you have some assumptions, right? So this is the simplest way I can show you the part of simple language. Join me for next show so we can talk about this more and voice it in the chat if you want to know more. So in the poster making world, the more title goes to the top of the poster, the more lighter it is, or actually heavier with the large red typography, often in comedies, the more comedic the poster will be. The wider the background goes, with the exception of Saw, probably the franchise, is the more happy comedic or kids-oriented it will be, right? On the opposite of the spectrum, you have a serious movies, dramas, war movies, heavy sci-fi stuff, superhero stuff, where the title tends to gravitate towards the bottom. And there is a reason for this. It's established look. So when you walk by or drive by 25 miles an hour, you recognize this in an immediate second. You don't have to spend time and be confused. if you were to represent Star Wars on a white background, you'll be confused. You'll be like, is it a musical? Is it for kids? Is it some sort of toy?
Yeah.
But if you have Star Wars in their natural environment that you're used to, you'll recognize it immediately, right? So please think about it that way. So it's your decision right now. If you were to design this poster, do you want to make it more happy and people recognize it as something comedic, or do you want to make it more serious? In my case, it was more serious discovery, right?
That's something I've never even noticed.
Oh, really?
Like, I guess, yeah, like now that you're pointing it out, I'm like, oh, that makes total sense, of course. And but I have never looked at DVD boxes that closely before.
You see, you'll be going like, oh, newspaper. I love it.
Yeah. Like, there's like a certain, like you'll see like comedies tend to have the same like format for how they set up like the photo of the characters, but then beyond that, it's...
Back to back, upside down dog, etc., right? Somebody smiling, body language. It's really hard to design something for comedy because your sense of humor may be completely different than mine.
Yeah.
And if I'm presenting something in a non-moving way, in a static way, this is really hard. I think, honestly, to me, the toughest posters are comedy posters.
Yeah.
I have few slides that will show you actually how these styles lined up. I know, Firefly. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah. It's all good.
Awesome.
I'm learning so much, honestly.
Awesome, cool. I hope you folks are too, and you appreciate that. Yes, you can all go to Firefly, but I just wanted to give you part of this knowledge that I do believe that sort of it will help you to create, it will help you to think about it from the get-go instead of fixing it later or get to the corner where you're like, oh my God, what I'm going to do now? And what am I saying by this, what I'm doing, right? I want your audience to know. It's like, oh my God, party on 17th. I'm going, right? It's going to be fun. Somehow they know it, right?
Yeah.
So here is going to the styles. I have just few pages more to show you. So this is theatrical blockbuster. This is how posters for big movies look like. Look at the title. At the bottom, close to the bottom, large scope, a lot of atmospherics, background, sense of place, right? Behind the characters. When it's happened, is it dark? Is it smoky? Is it jungle? Is it something else, right? Etc., with all those. Please do research on your own as well if you want to look at it from this perspective. Now look at the posters from comedy. Do you see the difference? Look at the logos at the top. I did not choose it like on purpose to embed it in you. But these are mostly like the random posters for comedic purposes. Of course, Bridesmaids, you have it reverse, so not all of them will adhere to that. But you see the general idea. You know that this is not a serious documentary about bridesmaids, right?
Yeah.
Somehow. Look at the festival posters. What language do those speak to their audiences? Look how many, there is a quotes. Look how many enigmatic images are there, right? By the way, in the split, that's my friend Samuel there. That's his buddy. I'm not sure if I should say that, but
that's cool.
Samuel, we're just saying hello. But look at those posters, how different language they have. There's no superhero. There is no large production, super, constructions behind it.
Yeah.
Look at this.
The top left one is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see?
Beautiful.
And look how they make you think.
Yeah.
They require you to stop and think a little bit. So in your shenanigans with Firefly and Photoshop, please do think about it. Like, how can I create more for those folks? Video games, they have completely different language too, right? Look at the title at the top, or with exception, I put it there on purpose for Doom because it doesn't have a top sliver there. But look at them. Again, they all have titles at the top, right?
Yeah.
Just in case if shelving is obscuring that. This is the most important part. And look at the broadcast. Like more and more we have streaming posters. They have their own sort of theme to them. The title goes from place to place, but it stays somewhat consistent towards the bottom with Bachelorette, something funny, romantic, right? And what I'm trying to show you also as well right now, it's a time lapse of a poster making in a commercial world that takes about 30 months to create a series of posters, and all the deployment for DVDs and such. And just to scare you a little bit, when we talk about layers and elements, this is my biggest poster that I've made in my life. 7 panels together, about 1,350 layers. So I hope you enjoy our little example of Halloween poster here. So what time is it?
You're still okay.
Okay,
yeah,
we're still good.
We have a couple people in chat in YouTube. BP Family says these two are a joy to watch. They feed off each other so well.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Please voice your opinions and comments.
Yeah, and Pamela says never knew about never knew that about titles. Thanks for sharing with us. And Alan says, we are enjoying the chat. No rush.
Awesome.
So,
cool.
I mean, you're blowing a lot of minds with this, including
awesome.
my own. So
awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. I do believe we can all go to Firefly and start like mindless, right? Oh, let's place a horse on a donkey, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can go in with no plan, but if you go in with a plan, you're going to be more successful.
And you get more from this tool, right? If you pay credits, I want you to
like
have those credits be worth something, not just an image that you later waste and throw away. I want you to, if you're paying for this, to get the most. So prepare yourself how to verbalize it to the machine so the machine can interpret what your dreams are, hallucinate it back to you, and for you to be happy about that, especially when you're building this from many different assets. I don't remember how many layers there are. I think there was 44 objects here, but let's go through it. So how it all started, and this is how I would recommend you to start. Start thinking about who you're addressing this to. What does it advertise? Is it your party? Is it just something spooky that you want to do for your dog or your mom or your girlfriend or boyfriend, or that you're maybe advertising a product with the Halloween theme around it? So please do think about it. Like, what would be the message? I want to sell you something. I want to invite you to something. So of course I have to let you know in a clear way that this is the time where we're going to meet, and this is the place where we're going to meet. Do not forget about this, right?
If anyone can't read what's on the bottom behind me, it says word cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
Woo! So the word cloud is the tool that I'm using for myself to organize my thoughts. My mind, works in mysterious ways. But so the paper is my solution to put everything in place. So I write down what in my mind works with Halloween, right? So I first type Halloween. The trees, the creepy trees, like it's always from Tim Burton, like, oh my God, this was so creepy. This was between hands, bones, and some weird claws, right?
And they're always long.
Yeah, always long and really weird. So in my mind, that was that. For you, maybe something else. Maybe it's just pumpkin or maybe just orange color. It's up to you, right? To Tomasz, this was creepy as hell. Of course, pumpkins, we love to create characters out of them. Sometimes they are joyful, sometimes they're weird, sometimes they're angry or just, or scary, or plain scary. So again, for you to choose, am I going to use happy pumpkins, if any, or the scary pumpkins, or the rotten pumpkins? It's up to you. You can create it all in Firefly, I do believe. Of course, what's next? Zombies. Of course, cemetery zombies walking there, eating their brains, right? Dead. I put it there as a something that to describe the mood of it. It's not alive. It's dead, but somehow walking. So that's why I combine it into my cloud. Cemetery, skeleton, of course, creature. Any creature. Firefly does not understand creatures, as doesn't know what the Godzilla is, etc., etc. It understands general concept of creature. That's why I put it there, right? Eyes. I love the eyes. They're like, if you have veiny eyes or red eyes, this is sort of the theme for Halloween for me again, within a pumpkin as well too. Haunted house. Of course, I wanted to let you know that this is the place where it's going to happen. Purple for some reason. That's sort of with the pumpkin. Yeah, right.
Purple tends to work with Halloween.
Yeah, you see, orange and graffiti. So I decided to change the style for it. So I wanted to make it more fun, less perfect, and in a way easier for me to compose all those images. If you have graffiti, nobody will ever follow like exactly the lines that you're doing there, right? Yeah. Nobody will ever find imperfections in pixels, and I'll show you how I use that in my project. And then I moved into the initial concept. How would I see this, right? And again, going back into my working days, I was like, okay, here's the evil that sort of looms over. Is it the mega zombie or king of zombies, etc., etc.? So I was like, okay, how do I represent this something, right? This creature. I don't know how it's going to look. I'm not sure if it's going to be at our Halloween. I'll just represent it by the eyes, and then we'll see if we're going to make it actually happen, right? So I started with the eyes, and everything else just followed like a Lego blocks into this form, right? A bottom part is often in the posters used as a sense of place. This is where you have car chases. This is where you have lakes with the dead bodies. This is where you have forest with the fire. This is where you have, I don't know, you name it. But you get the idea, right? So I've started actually at the bottom to not later on to have to reconstruct the whole poster. So I went from the top, and I took care of the bottom where the zombies should be, right? So I'm like, okay, zombies will be at the bottom, and everything in between later on I'm going to visually establish along with the title treatment. So we'll pull it and establish it visually together within one line, in a vertical line.
So basically, you're not just prompting random things and hoping it all works together. Like, you're coming in with a set composition in mind.
Yeah.
And you're taking design principles into mind too.
Yes. Yes. Luckily for me, I didn't have to pay for those assets since I work here, which is a blessing. But for all of you, you have to pay for this with your credits. So I do believe that to think about it is worth more than money than you spend later, right? So think about it, and then you spend less, and you can do 2 posters or 5 posters, depending on things.
Yeah.
It literally translates into financial responsibility.
Like in school, we were always heavily encouraged and honestly flat out told, like, sketch before you do anything, sketch it out on paper, sketch it digitally, but like, sketch before you start anything.
Yep. It helps tremendously. It especially when you're on a tight deadline. Right?
Yeah.
If you do tomorrow, you can't just wander until tonight, be like, I wonder what's going to happen. No, none of that. What you're seeing here also is my breakdown. I did it for work, for folks who are working on Firefly, engineers, to illustrate them how many assets I've been using per my project. I did a bunch of those, right? So for the final project, I used 44 final images. So I'm not saying that you should use 44. I had this freedom of doing this for free and unlimited amount of time. This was just my experiment. Could I have done it with less assets? Of course, yes. But since it was free for me and I had time to explore, I overdone it in a way, right? And you can't read it. These are the prompts that were there. But so I'm just showing to engineers that these were not short prompts like, hey, give me eyes or blue pumpkin, right? And stuff like that. And from the left, what you're seeing here, it's actually about 1,100 Firefly images that I had to go through to select those 44. Now I do believe we have better algorithms and it's all reworked, but I'm just telling you not to be discouraged by the amount of assets you have to go through. This machine does not read your mind. Doesn't know what your past is, what you're liking. It just shoots images that are diverse on purpose. For us not to be biased, right? But it shoots images, so please do not expect it to read your mind, because it doesn't know that I'm Polish and I grew up in this neighborhood with some sort of artistic sensibilities. It just doesn't know it. We'll never know, right? And maybe in the future. So it shoots you images. So prepare to spend some time on it, and this is part of your process right now, right? You select 44, then you start masking, selecting, segmenting, however you want to call it, those elements that you will need. Again, in this case with the graffiti, it was not perfect, far from perfect. I just did really, can I say crappy? I'll say crappy. I did a crappy job on masking, right? I didn't care because I was treating this later, right? So you have manual segmentation. You can choose, select object from Photoshop, etc. Go for it. I did it manually because actually I wanted some weird edges. And then final composition, that was about 2 hours of work to compose this together. And here are some of the results that I had. And I'm going to show you the prompt and tell you how to craft the prompt to achieve this in the same style, right? So these were, let's say, pumpkins that I was generating with somewhat finessed prompt. I want it to be purple, I want it to be orange, and I want it to be graffiti style, so it's not super realistic. I didn't want to be super realistic. So these are a few examples. Pumpkins, as they were, I do not care at this stage about what surrounds them that much. To me, the most important is pumpkin. I'm going to build something around that, right? I know Photoshop enough that will help me with that. Zombies walking at the cemetery in a smoke, etc., right?
Yeah.
Or the crazy rabbit that we have there. I know. This was a lot of fun.
That's terrifying.
I didn't even know that we can generate that, but this is fantastic. I did like rabbit with the red eyes, so not bloody eyes. For example, if there was a blood, we have mechanism to prevent you from generating certain things, violence, overly sexual content, etc. So,
smart.
Yeah, which is smart. Everybody is using this right now. So, and these are, to me, I look at those as ingredients for this what I'm building, and it's never one place. So if I have 13 bats, I'll choose maybe 2 or 3, repeat them, scale them around so they look different. You'll never discover it mostly. Even if you do, that's later, right? Yeah. The house, I spent like a few hours on finding the right house, the right angle. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect. But I knew that it would generate it at some point, something that I can tweak or adjust. So this is how my prompt and setting looks like. If you want to take a screenshot, take a screenshot. I literally wrote, it's detailed painting. This is how I see it, with the little strokes and not perfect 3D, edges. Scary pumpkin, and this is very important part. I will repeat the scary pumpkin in the future. Vivid dark colors with orange, cyan, and red. So these are my main theme that I will connect all those images with, right? All of them will have this purple, orange, and cyan in them. So that will look like I generated this with the one pass, but I didn't. I'm like thinking here, right? On a cloudy purple background. Why cloudy purple background? I wanted them to be easy to mask and yet be surrounded by those colors. If I mask it wrongly, I will have this within the palette. And of course, few styles I added at the bottom. It's art. It's a digital art that offers me a certain quality of my artwork. Concept art, graffiti. That's the dripping and maybe slashes, smudges and stuff. Oil painting that adds extra smudges there, and just painting to add more painting. Can I add more painting to it? I don't know. So I added all the paintings that I could with graffiti to create this sort of wicked style. And the reason why I was mentioning Scary Pumpkin is that now that I wanted to, I achieved certain style, right? So I have this style, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to achieve everything else in a similar style. I won't be typing again the whole prompt. That will be kind of counterproductive in a way. So I'm just replacing Scary Pumpkin. And every single time I render something, okay, I have everything already set up, like all the digital art or the concept art or the graffiti and colors. I can just swap the Scary Pumpkin with zombies walking at the cemetery, okay, or a rabbit with the red eyes. And everything I will generate from now on will have the same style, the same composition, so I can just take those elements and blend them together. And this is the shortcut that I sort of came up with. I don't think I'm a genius, but that's what I thought, like, to save some time, right? So please use it if you want to. Let me know how it goes in the chat afterwards. You had me at Scary Pumpkin. Okay, thanks, Wade. So Scary Pumpkin is there. What else do I have? I would love to show you something else too, and then go to actual Photoshop file. This is how the my layered file was built. Of course, we will never be able to do this within an hour, and that's why I give you the whole speech about theory of posters and colors and such, because there is no way we can build that. But I want you to build something equally interesting and intricate with that, not just go into simple one image and done, right? I'm about to play the screen recording that I did with these posters, literally turning on layers from the bottom to the top. What you're going to see at the top is few times the hue and saturation of this artwork will change, and these are my adjustments. This is where I'm adjusting what I got that was raw from Firefly, right? It's these images are, yeah, maybe sometimes pretty, but I want something different from them. I want this sickened, a little bit yellowy hue, like this sick fog in the movies and such. Plus purples were not enough for me in the files that were generated from Firefly, so I wanted a little bit more. So I made them a little bit more and a little bit more colorful even, right? So you'll see those adjustments at the top, so please pay attention. If you'd like me to repeat this, it's like 2 minutes long. If you don't like me to repeat this, I'll repeat. I'm pressing play and I'll walk you through it. I hope it will play. Please play.
The beauty of live.
Please.
We had this in the last...
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was trying to do gen recolor, and it was like, we don't want to gen recolor black and white. You got to... Oh,
actually, my computer froze.
No!
Wait. It happened in the past. Okay, so I'll keep talking and see. I swear the computer just froze. I can't move my cursor.
Oh, no.
Okay, plan B then. This is going to be great. I hope this will work. I have a bunch of files. If I can restart my computer, we can talk about something else. Or this.
Okay.
Oh, my computer is freaking frozen. Okay, anyways.
Okay.
Oh no. I may restart it in a second if it doesn't wake up. It did it. I just installed a new system on it, so it does it from time to time. I do have few images that I can share with you. Maybe can we share? Do you know if we can share something like a zip file of my results from Firefly in the chat later?
That's a great question. You may be able to. You could either put them in your CC and share a public link.
Okay.
You could also put them on your Behance and share a direct link to your CC file.
Okay. So I'm restarting my computer right now. Please stick with us for a second. That's really unfortunate. Okay, I'm restarting here.
It happens. You know what? Beauty of live.
Now you know that we're live.
Yes.
Are there any questions in the chat? Maybe this is we have a few minutes to ask.
Yeah. Okay. So we got about probably 15 minutes left.
Okay. Oh God.
We're good.
Time flies.
We'll make it happen.
But time flies.
It does. But you know what? People have been really there's been a lot of people that are just mind blown.
Oh, cool.
We had some comments from earlier. Carol was also having computer issues, so you're not alone.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
People were talking about how they love chocolate. It's their favorite food. We also have, when we were talking about getting the bad ideas out, Wade said, I need to get all the bad ideas out, still trying. And Annika said, a good artist always believes that they haven't created their best work yet.
Yes, I do believe that. And take this however you'd like, but none of my posters are ever finished, actually. Mm-hmm. I do believe that all the posters that I've done in my life, yes, they were ready for a client, but would I do more with them? Yes, I would do definitely more, and I can do this for hours afterwards.
Yeah.
But at some point, you have to just detach yourself and, and do your thing.
Yeah. No, it's, it makes sense, and it's fun to see how you use it as a tool, because really that's what it is. It's a tool. Mm-hmm. It's not doing all the work for you because you're not ending on what you prompt.
Good luck, AI. It's good luck. My brain, good luck competing with my brain or any creative's brains, whatever they want to achieve, right? Yeah. Can we try this?
We can. Let's give it another shot. It looks like we've got it back up again. Yeah, my dad has always said with there were points where I've dealt with people copying my style, copying things I do, and it's fine. That's how you learn. Mm-hmm. And he always says, they can copy all they want, but they can't copy what's up here.
Yeah, it's also very interesting topic we've started. Maybe we can do one more session about this. The whole session is the fear of copying AI, you copying, actually AI copying you, right? Mm-hmm. And I do believe that at certain short runs, yes, it's possible, but on the long run, working with the clients and doing revisions, it's impossible.
Yeah.
That's just physicality of our brain. I'm ready to start the video. Okay. Let's talk about it layer by layer. We're going from bottom up.
All right.
I just hope. Okay, it's moving.
Yay.
Woo, yes. So what do you see here? I love this monkey, by the way. So this is what happens when you request something weird from Firefly. What you're seeing here, it's literally me stretching elements, rotating them. Please don't forget about this. It doesn't mean that as it came, this is how it has to be used, right? Look at all those faces there, pumpkins and elements in between. What I'm creating, it's creating almost like a 3D space with atmospheric perspective. I'm introducing dust in between those elements, particles and glow to separate them visually from each other. You see this orange there in the center? So I'm creating this to separate this house from everybody else. I'm creating this aura of smoke, literally using the simplest brushes as you can have in Photoshop, right? And introducing this between elements, so it doesn't have to be flat. If you look at the mountains in the distance, you know how they get slightly bluer, right? And hazier. That's what I'm using actually here, and you'll see a few layers of that adding to create this depth that you have this illusion of going into through the zombie to the house and then distance between all the folks there. You're about to go into the adjustments. That's why you're going to see the changing color, my treatments or blur or sharpness or some sort of graphic edges on top of that, and adding additional elements. You see smoke, you will see the lights in the house. I will spend a week to get the exact light as I wanted this to be, but I can take it other elements from Adobe stock and place them within, right? So don't feel limited by only Firefly and how you can do this. Is this all generative fill? The file must be enormous. File is somewhat enormous. It's 13.5 by 20 inches. inches tall.
Okay.
It's not that big. It's a PSB. So let me see in a second how big it is, Oliver, to answer your question.
So PSB puts it over a gig. I know that much.
Yeah. Definitely, it's over a gig, and that's what I'm used to. This is how I operate. Yes, there is Gen Fill in there. We use that a little bit on few elements, but not much. In this case, I didn't need it. I don't have to expand it. I didn't have to expand any objects. I did paint over a few elements, and I will show you this in a second in Photoshop, how Firefly crops the top of the head, for example. So I have to just paint it with a simple, brush. So would you like me to play it again, or can I go to Photoshop? Hey, Jack.
I think we can go to Photoshop.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, because we're getting down to the wire.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
we've got about 10 minutes.
Always. So this file is like 3 gigs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
3.6, but that's me because I love high resolution elements. I love I love detailed files.
I work at 350 minimum in DPI. So
reopen. Okay. So I'm opening this for you.
Yeah.
And we can go through layers, as well as we can go to Firefly assets. Oh, I'll show you the few of the Firefly assets. So these are some of the files that I got for my preview. These are some of the files that I generated. I generated a bunch of background elements as well, right? So you never know if you're going to use it or not. These don't have to be high resolution. These will be stretched and morphed in the background. I just used it graffiti doodles somewhere there to make it busier, right? These are the eyes that I was sort of going after. I didn't care about the bottom of this. You saw some of the heads, and again, you see that they're that's awesome. But it's for Halloween. Look at creepy eyes, but yet somehow I smile to it. Maybe I'm just weird. But you see how cropped the top is? So most likely you have to use Gen Fill or just a brush and paint it over or clone it from somewhere else, right? You see this woman. So you see how little of this element, of this whole picture I used for that. Literally, I decided I liked her pose. I liked her her ears slash horns. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use her. This is fantastic. Look at the rabbit dude. He had a lot of going on around him, but I chose just him. I don't need anything else. Maybe I'll use some of the splatters somewhere because they were interesting. And there's like, look at this dude. I love it. This is awesome rabbit. I'm gonna make a tattoo out of this probably. Some random cemeteries, just in case if I have to put the zombies in the front of it. Again, some random cemeteries. Trying the house already. Trying different zombies. Are there smiling zombies? Are there just walking zombies? Are there skeleton zombies? It doesn't matter that it doesn't make sense. This is actually half of the composition is actually for me. This is what the poster is. It's not a photography, a documentary. It's a skewed image of reality that you're presenting. So you don't have to worry about about reality and realism and atmosphere and all this physics, right? So it can generate some weird stuff. These are awesome. Look at those dudes. Would you ever recognize their bones and such? No, I don't care. I get the general sense that these are zombies marching towards me. Whoa, I'm scared, right?
I mean, they decomped, so...
Yeah. Look at this dude. Like I put him. I believe he ended up being in the front of the house there. Let's go to the characters because
a few of these have a bit of a Dia de los Muertos.
They're somewhat there. I sort of pushed it a little bit to this. Look at the pumpkin. The only thing I want from this is pumpkin. Again, I'll have to work on the top, but it doesn't discourage me, right? I know Photoshop well enough to be able to do that. A few pumpkins. Are they different? Of course they have to be different characters. Yeah. Look at the eyes. When I saw those eyes, I was like, this is beautiful. This is the La Muerte.
So teeth eyes.
This is exactly teeth eyes. So I had to stretch the bottom to fill some gaps. But this was awesome. When I got this, I'm like, okay, now I'm starting this poster. This is actually awesome. So this was large eyes. Scarecrow with large eyes. This was my prompt, by the way. And it rendered it beautifully. I don't care about the teeth, right? Yeah. And then some random dudes, again, chopped off heads. This dude, I remember painting a little bit of his hat, and I will show you this in a center. Creepy bats. Of course, I may need them to sprinkle them all over, right? Are they creepy? Yeah, they're creepy, but funny in the same way. So if there are kids at our party, I do believe they won't be scared. So that's where I'm targeting my poster to certain audience, right?
Okay.
Few experiments with the houses. How do I get the house? No, this seems too simple. Maybe wicked trees, right? Oh, this is awesome tree. So please do experiment with the Firefly. Go to firefly.adobe.com and start experimenting, and please do think about it beyond one image. It's not only one image that you will be sort of working with. Hands, I thought maybe at some point about doing a hands there, but I'm like, no, that's sort of too personal here. These are the characters. So let's go into Photoshop and see how this was built. So for example, let me make it bigger first, Tomasz, so I won't get complaints. So yeah, again, this element was just literally the image that you saw. I just stretched it. I just literally grabbed a little bit of, I just literally grabbed it like this, I believe, and stretch it. Don't worry about this. This is going to be just your background, right? So this was literally what I just did with this image, because I knew that it's going to be a lot of stuff, but I wanted to continue. I didn't want it to end like that, right? So since it's my background, and then I will deselect, Command D deselect, and then look at this image. It's actually, I was looking at it as element, but not attached to the scale or rotation or the positioning. To me, that was like, what if I was to turn it left a little bit and mask the rest of it just to leave the smoke here? So I can use it behind my characters. I don't care about the zombies in this case, right? Same here. I have those zombies, but I was focusing on the background actually. Boom. So I can get few elements from one picture. So you can invest in this in a way. You can, if you think about it, you can, for your one credit, you can get 2 or 3 or even more elements from one picture. Please do think about it this way. Please do train your brain to think about this way. Otherwise, you can waste money, literally. Yeah. So again, here is this dude, the zombie dude without top of his head. But what I'm getting at is, here is a little adjustments that I did. Here is the head of this dude, and it ends right here, right? So you see it here, but it didn't stop me. I was like, oh my God, should I stop working on it? No, I just painted this, and this is with literally simple brushes. Nobody will ever figure this out, and yet you have a whole head. Okay,
it's just the soft round brush.
Yeah, I'm good with that, right? And there was few other elements that I did. For this dude, I didn't even care. Look at my masking. Look how bad my masking is. Look, this is what I got. Please do not share it with anybody how bad I am with masking. Of course, there's time for perfect masking, but this was not the time, right?
Alejandro says distortion, but with a purpose.
Yes, yeah, perfect. Like it's like artistic mess or something like this, right?
Yeah.
Again, the same dude
it's
here.
Controlled chaos.
Oh yeah. This is how we operate here, and again, you see multiple of those, right? Let me turn off the masks, and you see those. What I'm getting at, I wonder where is one of my dudes that I had, and I'm laying the pumpkins, one on top of another. Again, repeating them sometimes too, right? So it's nobody will ever know. How would they know? They will never know.
I know. I got that reference.
How would they know? How would they know? You see, characters adding. Oh, here's my favorite fella. Look, he showed up to be as a main character. I love his face. This is fantastic, actually. If I can create this in actual physical life, that would be awesome. But he has no top of his head. So again, I just used like the simple brushes that I could because I knew that I'm going to add a treatment on top of that. So this does not discourage me. Boom, here is his hat, right? And then we're going with the trees from stock. I'm adding these as those elements, grabbing attention, separating elements for that, or adding clarity to it. You see the smoke? This is the smoke I was talking about. This is the atmospheric perspective, to separate one from another. You use this smoke to tell the story. Hey, this is behind it. This is mysterious, etc., etc. Here's funky rabbit, etc., etc. So pumpkins, I'm gonna unmask these and turn them on and off. Here's the house experimentation. You see, I didn't like the house, but I like the hill. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna cover it with something else in the future. I decided to lay trees on the top of that. These are the trees that you remember from our exploration. More clouds, background. I decided just to paint the background.
We've got about 1 minute.
Oh, okay. And then, towards the end, you have all those elements added together, creating maybe some particles here. I also have some particles from Adobe stock, right? So look at this.
Oh,
These are elements that add a little bit of details in there. Then you put it on a screen mode and you have it. Boom, boom. I wonder where is the light. Oh, you see those lights here? I'm adding those lights manually later. Boom, boom. I would have rendered this for like 3 days in Firefly, but here I have it. I can just move it around whenever I want to, right? So yeah, and these are like latest treatments, like merging layers and coloring, some color adjustments to it, and here you have it. Please do experiment with this. Thank you so much for sticking with us. I hope I didn't bore you to death with the theories of Tomasz's and Tomasz's school of stuff, but I do believe it will help you to create something that you really like and will be functional for you. So that was my hope.
I mean, based on what the chat has reacted, everyone has been blown, their mind has been blown.
Awesome. Oh, cool. Like, awesome. Please leave comments. Let's chat.
Yeah, I think this was incredibly informative for everybody, and I think I can speak for everyone when I say this is really fun to see from start to finish. So thank you so much for sharing your process. I guess we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
We're gonna be switching seats, so we'll be right back. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll see you guys shortly.
Awesome.
All right.
Opasinski. Oh no.